Hello and welcome back to another VLA math video. Today we'll continue with our lesson on linear functions. Hopefully you've already watched the first video on the 3 different forms of linear functions and the follow-up video discussing slope. If you have not, I suggest you watch those videos before watching this one. With that said, we are going to tackle the slope-intercept form first and then move on to the other 2 forms later. Alright, let's look at the slope-intercept a little more in-depthly. Remember, the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Our m is the slope. Our b is the y-intercept. Remember, the y-intercept is when your value of x is 0. And what your y value at that point is your y-intercept. So if I had a graph like this, if I had a linear function, your y-intercept would be right here, whatever that value is. And that value was when x equals 0. So it's an easy way to find your y-intercept. If you can plug in a 0 for x, you can get your y-intercept. Alright, let's go ahead and try a couple example problems. Let's look at the first one. The first one resembles one of the questions from your quiz. I just altered it a little bit. So let's go ahead and read it and then see if we can answer this question. Roscoe plots the y-intercept of a line at 0, 4 on the y-axis. He uses a slope of 3 to graph another point. He draws a line through the 2 points. Which equation represents Roscoe's line? So let's highlight a couple of key parts. We are given the y-intercept at 0, 4, and then the slope of 3. With that just information, that's all we need to write a line in the slope-intercept form. Remember, the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And now for this point, all we need to do is just fill in their values. So an equation of a line would look y equals m is their slope. They actually tell us the slope, which is 3. Put our x there, and plus our y-intercept. Our y-intercept is at 0, 4. So just like I told you, our y-intercept is when x is 0. So my y-intercept would be at 4. So the equation of a line with a slope of 3 and a y-intercept of 4 would look exactly like that. Pretty straightforward question. Let's go ahead and move on to another one. Okay, let's move on to our second example. This time we're given a graph. It looks like we've got 2 points that are labeled. And let's see what they're asking. It says, write an equation that represents the graphed function. So we have a graph function. Remember, we're dealing with slope-intercept form. Once again, that form, slope-intercept form, so y equals mx plus b. Hopefully this form gets committed to your memory. In order to write an equation like this, we need the slope and we need the y-intercept. And hopefully we can get that from the graph. Remember, I told you that one of the easiest ways to find the slope of a graph, or find the slope of a line, is by looking at the graph, especially if the points are labeled. If we have a perfect graph like we do, all we have to do is count down and over, or rise over run. Remember, I told you that if the line is going downhill, remember our slope is going to be negative. So we know that our m is going to be negative right off the bat. And then all we have to do is count down and over. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So rise. In this case, it's down. And then we're doing 1, 2. So rise over run, and we went over down 4 and over 2. So that gives us like a negative 2 for a slope. And our b is just our y-intercept where it crosses the y. Remember, that's when x is 0, and they're giving us right here. So this point right here is our y-intercept, and what is the y value at that point? It is 5. Forgot that little x there. Make sure you put that in there. So the equation of a line, the equation of this line would be y equals negative 2x plus 5. Slope of a -2 and a y-intercept of 5. Hopefully this quick lesson on slope-intercept form helps. I will go over the other two in another video. With that said, have a great day.